Welcome to DFS Insights. I am David Jr. This is my cousin and co-host, David G. We are here for UFC 306 at the Sphere. The time has finally arrived. The budget was originally only supposed to be $8 million. Dana White has now poured about $30 million from what I've read into this event. So should be I'm definitely excited. This may be a one-off, one of one thing here. So definitely excited. We got Sean O'Malley up at the top of the card, arguably the UFC's biggest superstar that they have in the sport today. Definitely taking on his biggest challenge in Dvalishvili. I've been looking forward to this matchup for quite some time. We got the striker versus grappler, so that should be great. And then because it is, um, you know, Dana White loves this Mexican style fighting. Of course, we're going to have a lot of Mexicans here on the card. We got Alexa Grasso also defending her belt against Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet. That's going to be another great fight as well. You pretty hyped for this card, man, for UFC 306?
Yeah, more excited as we dive into it. Going over these, Vegas fights and Apex fights and things like that. Just looking at when you see our cheat sheet. The yellow fighters 3 and under. It's just more than half the fighters are coming in, developing. Basically getting their first of 3 fights. However, this one there's basically only 2 fighters on this entire card that have 3 or less fights on it. So looking forward to some solid data coming in from our models and things like that. So let's get to it. Yeah, maybe are they over budget because they got Canelo Alvarez to also put up his title. Oh no, that's boxing. That's boxing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, right. Yeah.
Scheduling it on the same day
Hey,
in freaking ridiculous.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, hey, he's at the T-Mobile Arena and Dana White's at the Sphere. So if I'm going to see the event and I could afford it, I'd be at the Sphere. But if I just needed to see some fighting, I'd probably be seeing Canelo.
Yeah, I bet
What
you.
I can
Yeah,
afford.
the pay per view people are mad because they could have been making a lot of money having them on 2 separate days. So,
For sure, 100%.
so yeah, let's dive in. Dive in here. Look at the cheat sheet here. So you want to go ahead and you can start off leading there with match one, the main event.
Awesome. Yeah, we got Sean O'Malley coming in here defending his belt for the second time. Man, I honestly I believed in his striking. I did not. I thought Aljamain was definitely gonna, be a backpack on him and choke him out. And instead, Sean looked as great as ever and knocked out Sterling. So Marab is his training partner, and I don't know. I mean, I'd argue Marab is not as good as what Aljo is. So, yeah, man, it should be an interesting matchup. You know, and then when O'Malley recently defended his belt against Cheeto, he looked just every fight he looks better to me. So, you got your classic grappler versus top of the line striker. Um, I'm quite surprised, the field seems to think 70-30 O'Malley's going to take this one, even though it's more of a coin flip from what the odds are saying. Um, from what I'm seeing from Sean, I think he's going to be able to take this one down. What are your thoughts here?
Well, yeah, Vegas coming in here, looking at it, O'Malley is coming in the favorite, 8,500 salary to Marab 7,700. Vegas has him at a minus 138, which is basically 58% chance to win. Our math model is coming up at about a 67%. Looking here, we're batting about 75-80% when it comes to utilizing our math here. So seeing that the math model is higher, and then it was actually, I think Marab actually was the favor, opening up. So I think it has flipped over to O'Malley, if I'm not mistaken there.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking at it, both are going to be fairly owned. O'Malley coming in at 43%, Marab coming at 45%. So, looking here at our rating system, I do like, O'Malley coming in with the leverage. He is going to be less owned. His salary is not that much more than Marab. And for Marab being, at 45%, yes, I understand he's going to probably get quite a bit of takedowns, but I think this is the larger, taller fighter that he's ever, faced, for O'Malley. And so I think O'Malley could, kind of, potentially avoid that, placing his hips, further back and such, and, basically defending Merab off with the longer jab and things like that. So, I think this is a big event. I don't think the refs, maybe Dana, told him like, hey, don't let Merab, don't let these wrestlers hold him down for too long.
Yeah.
We want some excitement. We need to make some money, make up some money. Obviously that's all speculation and conspiracy theory, but I have a feeling that I think O'Malley's going to take this one. So I'll be, probably at the field, if not slightly over, for O'Malley, and I'll be definitely probably under the field for Merab. And I actually can see, if this fight does go to the distance, that both of these fighters could potentially be in the optimal. So this might be a one that I would consider potentially stacking, especially if Merab gets those takedowns as he has in the past.
Fully agree with that. Why don't we take a look here at the next fight? We got Alexa Grasso putting up her belt. We got the trilogy fight here against Valentina Shevchenko. What are your thoughts on this fight coming in for another belt?
Yeah, I think this is interesting. Just looking back at those previous, fights, it can kind of go, either way. Shevchenko, I believe, maybe underestimated Grasso, and they basically split the last two. So obviously, this is a much-needed third fight. I think this might be the end of it. I think Shevchenko is coming in with our leading our math model here, where Vegas is actually favoring Grasso. I think I might be leaning towards Grasso on this one. Both price ranges are about the same: 8,300 for Grasso, 7,900 for Shevchenko, and that Grasso's ownership's coming in a lot lower. So where I might not be necessarily targeting this fight, I definitely will be having both fighters, but I think I'm going to be slightly heavier on the Grasso aspect, because I think, younger, I think she knows how to game plan for Shevchenko. She's shown it before. So, I think she gets it done again.
Nice. Yeah, to piggyback off that, the improvement she's made, Diego Lopes, who's actually fighting in the next fight against Brian Ortega, has been her jiu-jitsu coach over the past year, possibly 2 years or so, and she's really made some leaps and bounds in her game. She's a great striker, and her ground game is again making great advancements. So, and she's the younger fighter, so I'm with you. I like Grasso, especially if she's going to be 10%, around 10 to 15% less owned. Not a fight I'm going to be targeting heavily, but I will be having both sides of this matchup for sure.
Nice. All right. These guys, Brian Ortega and Diego Lopes. What do you think of these guys who screwed my card? I believe about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yep, you and me both. Where I'd say 50% of our lineups were dead before they started. But anyway, so my only concern here, Brian Ortega, trying to make this weight. His body shut out last time, and he got sick and had some issues. I'm a little afraid that could happen again, as he is also getting older now. Diego Lopes is that younger guy who's up and coming. Both of these guys are black belts in jiu-jitsu. Brian usually looks to take people down. If he does, he gets you down. Diego will welcome the takedown. So even though his takedown defense numbers might show that be low, it's because he's going to welcome you to take him to the ground. So it'll be very interesting. It's only a 15-minute fight. I will have both sides of this fight. With Lopes, it looks like him being at 38%. I might be leaning a little bit more towards T-City, just from the ownership perspective, but I'll be targeting this fight for sure. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think I like the Lopes coming in. Both math and Vegas basically kind of agree. Vegas is about 65%, a minus 188, and our model's coming in at about 69, 70%. So yeah, definitely Lopes with the ownership sitting at about 38%. I don't like that too much. Brian Ortega, on the other hand, is coming in at about 22. So Yeah, no, I'll definitely be having both of these fighters. I think I will be at the field at least for Diego Lopes because I do see him potentially putting Ortega away inside the distance in this fight. So where I'm obviously going to have Ortega because he could do the same thing to Lopes, but I think Lopes puts this away.
Nice, awesome. Yeah,
Ah,
on to the next.
On to the
On to
next
the
one,
next one here.
our first 9,000 salary here of the night. Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovics, coming in at 7,200. Zellhuber coming in as the favorite at minus 225. That's about a 69%. And Esteban is at a 175, which is 36% basically. So yeah, this I don't know. Esteban's coming in about 26%, Huber 23% ownership. Math is going to get me to look at a lot of footage, a little bit more. Typically, I watch a lot of footage when it comes to these yellow fighters with less fights in the UFC. However, this one, I mean, it's basically polar opposites here. Vegas is having Daniel coming in about 70% to win. Our math is coming in about 63%, 64% for Esteban. So I need to look at some tape to find out, who really has the advantage here. So this might even be a fight that I might be targeting. Daniel obviously coming in as the favorite, Vegas favorite at lower ownership, and then Esteban coming in at 7,200 salary. So if he can get a win, especially inside the distance, or even a win at 7,200, he could be in the optimal. So definitely be looking at this fight.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. This fight's coming in at 155 pounds. Both fighters, we got Daniels coming in at 15-1, Esteban's coming in at 13-1, and as you mentioned, at the 9K, you're definitely going to want to finish there. However, if Esteban can get, with our win probability, having him at 63%. If you can get a guy at 7,200, really typically to get a W, he's going to be in the optimal lineup. So I do need to watch a little bit more tape on this before I make a decision on how heavy I'll be going on either one. But this does seem like a pretty, another striker versus grappler deal. And I'm pretty good after watching extra tape, of which one of those is going to win. So to be determined there, but I do have a feeling I'll be doing a lot of lineups, and you always want to target everybody at least at some percentage. So
All right, nice.
yeah,
Now moving on to Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osbourne. Who you like here?
yeah. Man, this is tough because I believe yeah. So this is another bantamweight. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, flyweight fight. I was thinking Ode was it a bantamweight? Um, Ode coming in at 12-7. Um, man, yeah, this is tough. Ode southpaw, 73-inch reach. Um, he's not really throwing a lot of strikes landed per minute, 3.4. As far as the data goes, man, this might be one. I'm going to look up some Ronaldo Rodriguez a little bit more since our win probability has him up there. Again, he is one of the guys in the yellow. But you know, I just every time I've gone Ode, I've been burned. So this might be one I avoid. I could see this one possibly going to a decision, and because they're flyweights at 125 and not throwing a whole lot of strikes a minute, at least not for Ode. I might be looking to pass on this fight.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into the Ronaldo one. Like I said, the math is a little skewed with less than 3 fights. Typically, we like to do be a little bit more confident with obviously the more stats they have, the more even out average stats, I should say, with that. So yeah, be looking at footage for sure for Rodriguez. But if I did have to pick one, Ode at 7,600, and like we just mentioned before, Esteban, Ribovics at 7,200, I think is a better potential. So it would just basically come down to lineup construction and how I could kind of fit Ode in, and do I feel comfortable with it, basically. So yeah.
Nice. Right
Uh,
on.
yeah, well, next fight don't really have to talk too much about. Rojas Jr. is going to destroy. I'm not
Right.
even going to try to pronounce Aoriqileng. He's a minus 800. Our math's coming in
Yeah.
about 60%. He's going to be 61% owned. Have a feeling he's going to probably get him in the first round. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Rojas is a guy that Dana obviously favors. I thought he was starting the night off as this being like the first fight on the card, but maybe he got moved up. Also wouldn't be surprising to me. He just turned 19. As you mentioned, minus 800 favorite. Uh, yeah, he's probably going to finish the guy in the first round.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't need to talk too much. He's going to destroy the
yeah.
guy. I mean, that's
Uh,
it.
Yep, I'm with you on that. So on to the next one. We got the women's bantamweight fight coming up here. I know both of these ladies pretty well, Irene Aldana and Norma Dumont. We got Irene coming in here. I mean, it's a coin toss. Another close fight here. Our math showing that Norma Dumont though coming in as a higher favorite by quite a bit here, which I also agree with. I
Oh,
like that a
okay.
lot. Yeah, she's on a 4-fight win streak right now. She has 2 losses in the UFC, but she only has her last loss was in the beginning of 2022 to Macy Chiasson. She's coming off of a win of Durandamine. Durandamine's no joke. Um, y- you know, I just like what I see from Dumont. Now, don't get me wrong, it's Mexican Heritage Night. Arena Aldana. I like her as well. She's got some knockout power. She's got several knockouts on there, so I will be definitely targeting this fight due to the salaries being in a good spot, and I could see either person here getting a finish. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I might go be looking more at the Aldana perspective there. Coming in at 11% ownership, just slightly higher. Pay up on 8,400 to 7,800 Dumont there. Matt does have way different Dumont favorite there at 72%. However, I'm gonna think I might choose the leverage here. I think Irene, to be honest, I think she's at least to me, slightly, better. Dumont styles kind of, I don't know how to put this nicely, like
Yeah,
boring.
boring.
And,
Yeah,
and so being, the Mexican Heritage Night in the Sphere, big crowd, everything. If I think Irene Aldana, she's had multiple uh, performance of the night, the fight of the night
right.
kind of thing. So I think with that being an exciting fighter, that could sway in a decision.
Yeah,
The fight, whether not that's right. I'll leave that up to you guys. So, but yeah, no. Other than that, I'll be looking at this. Just especially since I think Irene might take it, and she's coming in at pretty low,
and,
owned at 11%.
and if she did, it'd probably be by knockout, like you're mentioning, and then just they both had Macy Chiasson in common, and she actually knocked out Macy Chiasson in the third round, to where Dumont did take a loss to Chiasson for what that's worth. So,
Nice, nice.
yeah,
So yeah, if you guys made it this far in the video, please make sure hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. We're putting out these UFC content information here. We do live streams. Basically, our final insights right before the lock happens. We might not be able to make it this weekend, unfortunately. I got prior commitments, but hopefully going forward for all future ones. Barring any other event comes up or whatever. We like to get out there about an hour before the event and just start going over things, our lineups, your guys' comments, questions, whatever. So yeah, wanted to get that out before. I like this fight, Manuel Torres
yeah,
versus Ignacio Bahamondes. So Manuel Torres, last 14, 15 fights, I think he has 14 finishes in the first round. And I
yeah.
think the other one, it was in the third round. So, I mean, does he get the first round finish here? Like, I think if he does, it's going to be, he's like, he needs to do it in 1 or 2 minutes. Like, he doesn't have any data for me to say, like, hey, he can go the full 15 minutes because he has never made
Yeah.
it really out of the first round.
I
So
know.
hopefully, for him to finish there. So if you're looking at him in that aspect, our math, is coming in way high on him, about 84%. Vegas, this is basically a pick. I'm 55% to 51% there. But so I think I'm going to be going pretty heavy on Torres with the potential that he gets that first round, similar to he has in his last 14 fights. But I'm also going to be, at the field as well, at 27.3%, 28% or so, Ignacio. So I will definitely be targeting this fight, especially
Yep.
since they're so close in salary.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right with you. Ignacio 6'3", Manuel Torres is 5'10". How Torres is throwing 8.4 landed significant strikes a minute, and Ignacio is landing 7.1 a minute, which is pretty crazy. The difference here is that Torres takedown average per 15 minutes is 3.26. He's got a takedown accuracy of 66%. However, Ignacio does have an 85% takedown defense. So it'll be interesting. Torres has more ways to win. As you can see, he's got a sub and 2 knockouts, to where Ignacio is going to have to finish it just with his hands. So, yep, I like this fight a lot. I'll be targeting both sides of it. So, on to the second to last one here. We got Mr. Edgar Chairez versus Joshua Van. And that is coming in. That is odd. Yeah, that's a flyweight matchup. That's what I thought. Sorry, my
Yeah.
thinking here was a little off.
Yeah, I don't know.
um,
This fight's kind of weird. Joshua Van taking it on short notice again. I think he just got knocked out very recently. I'd say within the last month or two, or yeah, 30, 40 days or something like that. So it's like, why take a few months off, recoup. Don't take this on a short camp, because Edgar was actually supposed to be fighting another fighter, so he's taking this on short notice. So I mean, if you come in, you get knocked out, now you just look kind of like a fool. Like, dude, you just got knocked out. So, and I mean, he is coming in as the favorite at 8,900. So I'm gonna have to, look at my lineups to see where I can plug in Van, because, like I said, he's coming off a short camp, short notice, just got knocked out. Do I think he's the favorite? I mean, Vegas does, our math does, so I'm definitely going to be having him. But at the same time, it's like, how much of that 34% am I going to be? I might be, even though he's coming in pretty decent on the ratings, in the green over there, or light green. Yeah, I might be lower, 25 or so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll be lower for sure. This seems to be a little bit more of a low-level MMA fight. They both don't have, as too many fights underneath their belt, and their wins and losses are scattered. So, and again, being at 125 pounds, it just that screams a decision typically. But it's a low-level fight. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'll pretty much be avoiding that. So, or just low own. On to the last fight here. We got Yazmin, yeah, Jauregui versus Kellen Souza, and
Yeah, I think this is another Raul's Jr. I think this is a just press the button on Yazmin.
yeah, I
Keeping
mean,
in mind, if you look at our math, our math does show that Ketlan Souza has a math favorite. However, like I said, the data is a little skewed on those yellow fighters, because their averages are really on a short term basis. So, and the math is basically using their strikes per minute, defenses, and all that to find a value. So, being less fights skews that data. So, I'm gonna probably definitely be trusting that, and I'll probably be clicking. I'll be at the field probably for Yazmin at the 26%.
Yep, I'm with you on that. If they have a Mexican symbol next to their name, chances are they have a good chance of winning since as Dana White says, this is his love letter to Mexican fighting. And they're going up against the Brazilian Souza. And again, the minus 500. I'll have some exposure to this fight, but I'll be at or below the field on it. So yeah, man, excited for this card.
Yeah, looking forward to it too. So hopefully, this information helps you guys out, and if it does, or you did find it helpful, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, drop a comment down too. Let us know that you did subscribe. We like to welcome to the community and start growing it larger. We do cover the UFC here, basically all the cards going forward. We cover the NFL DraftKings, the Millie Maker, so hopefully win that $1 million this season, and we also do the NFL FanDuel's single game slates. Typically, we'd be covering the Monday night football matchup, unless the Thursday night matchup looks more appealing. Luckily, we didn't cover it this night because injuries and everything weird happened. But with that, looking forward to hitting the big one here. With the entries being up to $25. They can't just keep it at 18 or 15. It'd be nice. But anyways, anything to add? But other than that, good luck, and we will see you on the next one.
Next one. Yep. Good luck to everybody out there, and hope to see you guys up at the top of the leaderboard.